Yeah, not really sure how I feel about this video. So as you've probably read in the title or seen in the thumbnail of this video, I am contemplating on showing how to actually do a really cheap, affordable, free trigger job. This is primarily for, the Walther PPQ, so rejoice. But I just don't know how I feel about this. If you don't do this to the T and you don't do it correctly, your firearm can become unsafe, unreliable, or you can just flat out ruin it. I do not want to be responsible for that. I just don't. I'm not telling you to do anything. I'm just putting out a video. If you want to do it, you do it. I guess the main reason why I'm doing this is because I have seen in the past week a lot of questions on Facebook groups and forums, and I even got PMs and messages on my videos about my trigger and how I get my trigger so smooth or I lighten the weight, and it's a tricky subject, but I guess I'm going to show you guys how to do it. Do it at your own risk. I'm not responsible for what you do. So watch to the end, follow me over to the table, and what you see is what you see. So now that we are over at the desk, here are the things that you will need. 1, your handgun. In this case, Walther PPQ. 2, a lighter. It doesn't really, it's a lighter. 3, toothpicks. You only really need 1. And lastly, the knowledge of how to actually field strip your firearm. So in this case, Walther PPQ, and we are clear. So first step, clear and field strip your gun. Okay. Okay, so inside of the frame, there is a few things you can do. You can actually sandpaper the trigger bar and kind of like just polish it. You don't really have to pull out the trigger. You can just put the sandpaper in between it and just go ahead and do it right there. It'll get you decent results. Better than what it is right now. Usually the actual frame is not that bad. It's the slide that we need to work on. So let's field strip it. And of course I can't find the right punch when I need it, but whatever. We'll just do what we can. This is just a field strip for Walthers. I'm sure everybody who has one knows how to do it. When you're field stripping the Walthers, you want to obviously put your hand up here so the spring won't fire out. Because if you lose that, good luck. All right, so here's a firing pin safety. What you're going to want to do is grab a toothpick, and you see the spring. Mine is probably a little bit more dense than yours right now because I've already actually sealed it. See how it fits kind of perfectly? You actually don't want that. You want just enough to hold it. You don't want it too short because if you're off too little, it'll be too loose when you apply pressure. If you look at the end right here, it's actually tightly coiled already. So like I said, I've already resealed mine. So I'm going to just use this end. I really don't want to heat this up again, but I'll do it so you guys can see. Now note to yourself, if you mess up this spring, it's okay. There are websites that have these springs. I will try to remember to put them in the description eventually. You can technically skip this whole process because you can just swap springs, but this version is free. So what you want to do is get your lighter. And you're going to heat up this end right here. Very carefully. So you're going to heat it until it becomes red. And you see already it's starting to turn red. This is more than enough heat. You don't need any kind of special heat gun. So you see how it turned red right there? So it becomes a little bit pliable, and just push it down on your desk or any surface and just apply a little bit of pressure. It doesn't have to be a hard push. It's going to cause the spring to seal on itself little by little. Be careful not to overdo it. But you want to keep on testing it with the firing spring. So I'll show you what I mean. You just don't want it to be too much pressure. Compared to how it comes from factory, this is just super smooth. Not a lot of resistance. What you don't want is for it to be completely flat and no resistance. That is not what you want from your firing pin safety. Once you get it like that, you're good to go. So let's just put this back together. Putting it back together is always fun. And that just pops right back like so. Alrighty. I did actually add a little bit of pressure because this feels a lot better than before. So what happens when you do this is, I kind of explained it in my Walther PPQ M2 video. The initial take up is the trigger spring, which is all well and fine, but the actual click is the actual trigger bar right here, sliding down, making contact with the firing pin safety. So that first click is it going down, hitting the firing pin safety. And that tension is usually a lot more resistant. So what we're doing is when the trigger is pulled and the trigger bar comes back, it hits the firing pin safety. The firing pin safety spring is actually so smoothed out right now based on what we just did. It's smooth and soft to the touch, and it feels like one smooth, just consistent pull. The wall that you have to break through is actually controlled by these other springs and the units in here. So it's not too much of a big deal. just makes the initial pull smooth. Instead of smooth, then more pressure, then a wall, then break. It's just smooth, 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 wall, break. And that is hard to put into words. How much, not easier, that's not the right word, but how much more confident and how much more accurate that makes you shoot. So yeah, that's my little hack right there. And like I said, it's so ridiculously smooth, and it feels like one constant tension, one constant pressure. To break through the wall, you still have to apply, you know, a good, on mine at least, 4.5 pounds. But the take up to the wall, it's just perfectly smooth. It's not an apex trigger. It's not going to shorten the actual take up or anything like that, but the actual pull and the consistency and the break, it just becomes that much better. And out of a carry gun, you kind of do want that take up, because I see too many people shortening their take up to the point where like, it's like right here, it's like just it's like nothing. And I'm on the wall, and holy, you know, if you feel safe doing that, by all means. But yeah, that is it. Like I said, you saw how simple this was. It's free. As long as you do it right, you'll be fine. Meet me back up top. So there you have it. I guess that's how you do it. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that notification bell, and I will see